Welcome to the I'm Perfectly Divine podcast, a place for the strong, sensitive, spiritual seeker to recognize the perfection of your human journey as a pathway to remembering your divinity. I am Michelle Bursell, as work is to bridge both the emotional and spiritual worlds through proven and grounded frameworks that support you to live in the wholeness you already are. For over the past 2 decades, I have supported people from all around the world, as well as Fortune 500 companies, to dissolve the divisions within them and live with greater empowerment and love. This podcast is an exploration of the paradoxes that befuddle us as we live our lives being both human and divine. Together, you and I, along with other experts, will navigate integrating psychology and spirituality, the divine feminine and the divine masculine, the darkness and the light, to create greater sacred union from within. I believe through your remembering that you are innately divine, that you will allow yourself to more openly shine. So let's get to it, because your unique light is needed more than ever. Welcome to I'm Perfectly Divine. I'm back this week with an Alchemical Illumination Portal, which is designed for you to open a doorway into deeper work through my free series called Sacred Alchemy. And this week, I am discussing the love in the dark. And this is coming from someone who can literally panic in the dark. And this is something that my husband learned very early on in our relationship when we were dating. He decided one night to jump out at me as a joke. And the type of reaction that I had, let's just say, was not normal. And all I can say is through the 30 years that we have been together, he has learned never to jump out at me like that in the dark again. So there was also this other time, probably 10 years ago or so, when I was playing a game with my kids, and we used to play this game called Scare. And this is when they were in middle school, when kids are into like scary movies and all things like that. So this game that we created called Scare is basically our take on hide and go seek, except the goal is that you are supposed to try to scare the person seeking you so that they scream out loud, like then you win, right? And so the only way to be able to do that is that you are in pitch black darkness where you literally cannot see your hand in front of you. And so this one time we were all playing in the basement, and I heard the scream happen, right? And I was like, okay, good. I thought to myself, the game is over. So I try to find my way out of the basement. No one knows where I'm at. And in my mind, I felt like there would be a light switch on the wall. And so I go to feel for the light switch, and it's nowhere to be found. And that is when I just completely panicked, like this breathless, heart racing, fear filled panic that like your rational mind can't comprehend, because I did not know how to get my way out of the darkness. I couldn't find my way. And little did I know that this experience in real life of panicking in the dark was going to be my mirror as to how I was going to feel when I went into the psychological underworld journey that feels completely dark, lost, and alone. And this happened for me, where I struggled and suffered mostly because I didn't know that this is what was happening for me. You see, for my spiritual and personal growth, it's been about learning about the ascent, how to be more light and more expansive and more powerful and empowered in order to conquer any darkness, limitation, or fear. And little did I know that there was a different sacred journey where those beautiful aspirations were no longer going to serve me. But mind you, I had no map for this. I had no understanding of this, despite being trained in clinical psychology, despite all the personal growth and years of integrating spiritual practices from basically every esoteric, spiritual, religious text that I could get my hands on. I didn't realize what was happening to me. And without a map, what I thought would be there to support me, the tools, the skills that I had learned, just like that light switch that I was swore should have been there and wasn't, the skills, the tools, everything I learned wasn't there for me any longer either, not in this realm. And so what happened was I was alone and beating myself up for getting lost, for not knowing how to somehow use the tools well enough, or being so inadequate for allowing this downward spiral to happen. I just kept saying, what is wrong with me? And I don't want to be here. And it wasn't until after the fact that I realized it wasn't that there was something wrong with me. It was that I had no idea that I had stepped into a completely new terrain, the underworld journey of the heroine. Now, some people refer to the heroine's journey as sort of a parallel experience to the hero's journey, but that this is something that only women go through. And that is not how I understand the heroine's journey. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with others' interpretations. But how I recognize the heroine's journey is that, well, first of all, I am integrating alchemy, psychology, and spirituality. And when I put them all together and I look at those that I have worked with from all over the world, I believe that certain people are offered the opportunity to go into this journey, into the underworld, because it is something that their soul came here to do. And so from this perspective, gender doesn't matter. What matters is a willingness to be able to receive and integrate divine feminine wisdom. And this, to me, is part of the reason why the feminine and darkness, and especially the combination of the dark feminine, have been vilified. It is exactly because this terrain is so different than how most of society has been built. And so there's this sense of not wanting this wisdom to be accessed. Because when you make it through this terrain, you won't be controlled by the external like you once were. So to me, so much of our life is based on reaching certain levels that make you above, better, special. And then we have the underworld terrain that dismantles all of that, dismantles our egos clinging to the external to define us. And it's really recognizing that in this terrain, the feminine is vilified because she is not playing around. When you go into the underworld journey, you are entering what it means to be the heroine and receive divine feminine wisdom. And the divine feminine will hold you to the fire in a way you have never been held before. And you will think this feminine force is holding you down in this unknown terrain, trying to kill you. But what is meant to die has never been the truth of who you are. And the love that she holds does not care what you think of her, what you call her, what you believe about her, because she holds a wisdom that is beyond our short-term needs and will hold a love for us that is about our long-term fulfillment that your soul came here to experience. And she will hold you to that. That is the love in the dark. That is the love of the divine feminine. And it's a wisdom found through the heroine's journey. So in alchemy, there is a reference to the great work that our souls embark on. And it's just the ascent model that we tend, again, to know about. But there is a descent, and then there's also an integration. So all three journeys are different realms for you to learn and navigate. So if you feel like lost like I once did, or that you're struggling, or if you're just curious where you may be on the map of the great work, or want to know more about the heroine's journey and the difference in the divine feminine wisdom offered through this journey, you are warmly and welcomed to sign up for my free Sacred Alchemy series. You can go to michelleburcell.com/sacred-alchemy. It'll also be in my show notes. And just know that my shirt that I have on, which says courage, here, I don't know if you can see it all, courage is a love affair with the unknown, is exactly the courage, the strength, the compassion, the wisdom that is gained on the heroine's journey. But even as we navigate that, know that there is nothing to fix, just to remember. Hope to see you inside Sacred Alchemy.
I am so honored you have joined me today. If you enjoyed the I'm Perfectly Divine podcast, subscribe so you don't miss any of our power-filled episodes. Also, if you know another who is strong, sensitive, and spiritual and wants to dive deeper into emotions and ancient wisdom so they too can create profound peace and fulfillment from within, please share this podcast. Thank you again for joining me, and I look forward to reconnecting with you soon.